Hola, fellas, fillets, everyone else. I am going to be talking about you've seen the thumbnail. The Squid Industries nautilus is right down there. Got it all linked, but before I do that, I have to specify something. Everything I use is a trainer, so, YouTube, don't strike me down or whatever, because, this is all hollowed out, completely dull on both sides, whatever, okay? I'm not in danger at all, so please stop trying to rail me in my little booty. I'm only 16. Anyway, today I'm going to be talking about the Squid Industries nautilus right here, and it is a very good knife, and it is also kind of controversial in the community for a lot of reasons that I'll go over. But yeah, let's just let's get right into it with the probably most talked about thing. Tolerances have been an issue for every nautilus for some reason. V1, V2, whatever. And they originally said it was because they were swapping to hardware that they were making. But then the V2 tolerances were still kind of booty ass. So yeah. Anyways, mine sounds flippin' fantastic. I'm going to move out of this and into this chair. So yeah. No, mine sounds great. No complaints for me on that, except that's what firm blade rub. Which, it kind of sucks, because it's all black and then there's just like a little bit of silver if you catch it at the right angle. And that's because this handle, not anymore. I'll talk about that in a second. But it developed blade rub in like the first week of me having this thing, which is not ideal for a knife that I spent $230 plus on. But it's not that hard of a fix. I literally just held the handles down, cranked the shit out of these, and hasn't been a problem. I also try not to flip it over hard surfaces. I try not to do that with any of my knives, but especially this thing, because I dropped on a couple drops on my hardwood did that. But this thing, people have told me that it sounds like one of the best nautiluses that they have ever heard. So I'll do a little sound check. Anyway, let's get into the beans and meat or whatever. The flipping. How does this flip? And I'm going to say this is probably one of the best tech flippers I have ever had. yeah, because, I mean, this thing is really, truly just kind of awesome. It is really light. And it takes a little getting used to, because it does kind of feel like flipping like a slightly weighted plastic knife when you first get it. But it does feel great. Let me get out let me grab the old Tsunami here. It is, I mean, I feel like it's a little smaller. Let me put it on something that you can actually see. Maybe, I mean, a little shorter blade. Cutouts, I mean, you know, handle length is about the same. They're a little more square on this. But yeah, it's about the same length. It does feel small in the hand, though, for whatever reason. Nice to me. But, this thing also looks amazing. I mean, it's not any new news. But yeah, this thing looks fantastic. I would say this is probably the best tech flipping experience Squid offers. Either this, I mean, at least at this price. I guess if you want something cheaper, I would actually say the Owl is a pretty good option. The Owl over there. And if you want anything more expensive, Tsunami is going to be your best bet. But for like the price range it's at, I actually feel like it's kind of fairly priced. The only caveat is the tolerances, and I don't know what it is with nautiluses. Maybe it's because they haven't figured out what's up with the G10 yet, or whatever. But I mean, tolerances can get pretty bums. That's as much play as I can get. I'm trying really hard. So I mean, it's not horrible, you know, but it's not an ideal amount for sure. Like, I wouldn't be thrilled if I'm not thrilled that my $200 plus knife came with blade rub as soon as I dropped it a couple times. It kind of sucks big stinky ass, but I mean, it's whatever. I cannot stop talking about how good the flipping is, though. Really, like, sorry this video is really incoherent. This is more initial thoughts. I'm kind of still in the honeymoon phase with this thing, but the balance on this thing makes doing tech tricks so much better. And I've learned quite a bit of new things on this, or just tricks that I, used to kind of struggle with, like that, like this little weird pen fan thing that I would struggle with. It has gotten a lot easier, and I can use it for transitions like that. I usually stop it with my finger, but if I want to go for a big rotation, I can. It does amazing with the type of aerials I like doing, which is like, like these. I learned how to do 0G cats on this, which, I mean, I don't think I can get in frame, to be honest, because I'm filming all sideways. But yeah, these things are amazing for fans. They're really good for, I mean, basically anything you want to do. They're good with standard flipping. They're good with flipping fast because how light they are. They're good with flipping slow because of how flipping slow because how light they are. They're good with doing tech because, I mean, literally whatever. It offers a lot of grip with these G10 cutouts. The jumping does do something. It helps a little better when you're on this face for whatever reason, but yeah, you know what, it helps. Okay. But yeah, this thing is great. Would I recommend buying it? Not if you're a beginner. I would say this is more of a advanced, maybe intermediate knife to grab because the price point and it's a little funky. It's a little light. I mean, I would recommend if you're a beginner looking for a higher end knife, getting something like the Squid trainer. I am a Squid glazer, I guess, so you could say. I'm really not. I just can always expect great quality from Squid, really. And I'm sure I can with other places, too. But Squid has been probably... They just make knives that I know I'm going to love flipping. Now, would I get this over something like a Squid trainer? Depends. If me now didn't have a Squid trainer or a nautilus, I would pick the nautilus. But I think me, when I was learning, I would pick the Squid trainer just because it's a little easier to learn the basics on. I feel like this is a knife that is really good for flippers who, I mean, are a little deeper in there. I know people do learn on it. I think Brandon Baker learned on it. So, I mean, yeah, it's just my preference. One last thing, this thing holds momentum a little funky when you first start flipping it. It's not like hard to get used to, but especially giraffes felt so weird because I was putting more force into it than usual, and I was doing that with all my tricks. Like, I felt like my flipping was like this. It was so fast for no reason, just because how much force I was putting into it, when usually I'm like a pretty slow flipper, to be honest. I don't flip that fast. I just flip a little bit, like, I don't know, smoother, I guess. And to do that, I make my tricks slower because I think it looks cool. Yeah. But I would like be doing a slow combo, and then I would go up into this draft and I'll just blow through it, and it looked kind of weird. So that's one thing you have to know is it does take quite a bit it took me about, I don't know, I want to say a week to fully get used to it. But yeah, that's just my initial thoughts on this little creature. So yeah, I'll have a video out again soon on this thing, backhand fan to index roll, and then also on this, oh shit, this, right, alright, cool. I'll see you guys later.